In Schoology, one of the most useful resource apps that you should install and use is the Google Drive resource app. And we've already added that to our resource area so that our resources are connected to our Google Drive. But now we need to add the app into our course. So to add the App Center is in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. There are these icons and this one that has kind of like the 4 squares. That's the App Center. And if I click on the App Center button, these are the different things that I have. And so I'd like to install the Google Drive resource apps, which I already have, but I want the Google Drive assignments. So I'm going to click on that puppy and see what happens. And I'm going to install that app. And I will agree to those things without even reading it. And I'll scroll down. And again, I want to install these in my 2 classes, but into my 2 Sandbox classes. I don't want to install it into the Marymount Staff Information course. And I'll click on Install. Now again, sometimes this thing works, sometimes it doesn't. You might need to install it again later because the link gets broken. Things like that happen. But so let's go back to my courses, and in particular my Sandbox course. And what I can do is I should now be able to assign Google assignments directly from my Google Drive. And so here is a top secret. If you go to the materials button to add your materials, it goes to the very bottom of your page. But if you look closely, there is a faint gray line between every folder or material that you add. And if I go to that faint gray line and hover over it, it turns into a green dashed line. And if I click on that plus sign that appears on the left, I can actually add the assignment right there. And so when I add my assignment, you'll notice I have this Google Drive assignment app now that appears. So this is going to be a Google assignment. And I could put my description here.
Here's what I found.
And there goes my Google. My Google's talking to me on my phone. My description here. Oh my goodness gracious, if I could only spell. And if I click on my Google Drive assignment apps, I will connect it. And I may have to sign in. And I may have to allow it. But here I am in my Drive. And so it looks, I'll turn in my first badge. There's the first badge I did. And so my students will get a copy of that. My students will get a copy of that. They can edit, modify it, and then submit it later. I need to choose a category. And I could create a new one. I'll just select an ungraded one right now, which is fine. And everything else looks good. I'm going to go ahead and click Create. And that will go right to the top, which is where I wanted it to be. Again, there's different. It's just not docs that I can add. If I click on that little plus sign again and I add another assignment, I've shared some other resource apps with me. I'm going to go ahead and click on the Google Drive resource app. And on the far right side of this dialog box, there's a Shared with Me. And if I click on the Shared with Me, I can insert a Google Slides presentation, or I could insert a spread.
Frequently mentioned on the web include Microsoft PowerPoint and Google Docs, Sheets,
and there it goes my phone. Or I could insert a spreadsheet. You cannot do a form yet, and you cannot do PDFs. So you can insert docs, spreadsheets, and slides. Those are the only things you can do in the Google Drive resource app. So that's that, kids. Hopefully you enjoyed this and my cameo appearance from my phone.